So the subject that I wish to unravel today is the topic of fears. Most of us will have gone through an event in our life which has caused a specific wounding or perhaps even a trauma. And then what we do, we go throughout life and we are presented with various opportunities, with various people, with various triggers, which will reawaken and reincite this fear. And the reason for that is because we are being called every single time through these triggers to go and redeem a version of ourselves that we have left behind once we were faced with this negative emotional imprint at that moment of impact. So during that moment of impact, a part of ourselves or an aspect of ourselves has been frozen in time, and it becomes then the subject of our lives that we have to go back in time and redeem it. And the way we are called to redeem that aspect of ourselves is through the specific encounters and the specific events and the specific challenges that we are ongoingly being presented by. So specifically pay attention to patterns, right? Now, it is good to think about, so most of the time when we are encountering fear, we are viewing it as something to get rid of or as an obstacle to overcome. And we rarely think of fear as a friend. But fear is exactly that. It has been there, it has occurred as a coping mechanism to a traumatic event. And this coping mechanism is therefore it's a resource for us. So it is there for a purpose. It has a meaningful purpose for us. It helps to think of fear as a vigilant, overprotective dog that barks whether there is a trespasser, a passerby, or a welcome guest. So clearly we love the dog, but ideally we would want him to not bark at every single person, but to be able to discern the actual threat from perceived threat. So how would you go about training this dog? Because you wouldn't get rid of it, right? You wouldn't abandon the dog just because it's over vigilant and overprotective. Well, the same way, we're not there to abandon or rid ourselves of fear or a wound or an emotional or a pain body. What we are there to do is to train it to become discerning and to cooperate with us versus it working against us. So how do you go about that? How do you train your fear? Well, emotions are an intelligence. Thus, fear is also an intelligence, which means that you can communicate with it, you can talk to it, you can negotiate with it, you can reason with it. Because where there's an intelligence, there's reasoning possible, there's communication possible. So one very simple practice that I can recommend is writing letters, writing love letters to your fear. When was the last time you did that? Try it. Give it a try. Write a letter, give yourself 5 minutes and write a letter, write a love letter to your fear. Write a love letter to this dear friend that has been there having your back all this time. And see how this helps you go back and redeem a version of yourself which you have left back in time. Let me know how that goes.